Hey everybody, Zach again at newtutorial.com. Wanted to come in and do a video, a garden update, part 2. It's our second garden update, and I kind of wanted to just go in and show you what we're doing. The wind's kind of blowing today. It's a nice day outside. We've had a lot of rain, so it's kind of muddy, but I figured I'd come out here and just give you an update on what's going on and what we're doing. So right now, you can see we've got a fence going around the garden area. We've put that in, and it's almost complete. There's about 16 feet or so on the other side we still have to complete, and we have to put a little gate in here. You can see the gate laying on the ground there, and we're getting ready to put that in, and so we can walk. There's a gravel path that we've put in to walk around to the entrance of the greenhouse, and then also allow entry into the garden area. And this area here is going to be kept open so we can pull the truck up and then also top off water tanks on the inside, because our truck over here is fitted with a water tank inside of it, and we use that water tank to distribute water throughout the homestead and to wherever whoever needs it or wherever it needs it, to different tanks. And so you can see a tank down there that we use for the animals. Anyway, so we can distribute water through that truck, and so we can back up the truck to here and then top off the tanks inside the greenhouse. And so that's what we got going on right now. The arbor, I'll go over and look at that in a minute, and I'll show you some more of the gardens. Let's go take a look at that. So what we've done here is we have put down sawdust. There's this a factory not too far away that uses untreated wood, and they use oak and hickory, and they make handles for like tool handles like axes and you know, pickaxes and things like that, shovels. And they use oak and hickory a lot of times for their wood and so they have a lot of shavings. Some of it's more like small wood chips, some of it's like these long shavings you see here, and so it's just really good, you know, thin shavings. And so what we've done is we've put down a good thick layer of wood chips and shavings on top of our garden, you know, at least 2 or 3 inches or so, and that's going to give some shade to the soil. And kind of, if you've ever seen the Back to Eden garden video, I highly recommend the Back to Eden video, and I'll put the link down at the description at the bottom of this video so you can check that out, that Back to Eden garden video. And so basically that's the principle that we're using here, to give the soil some shade, to retain the moisture in, and also this will break down and provide really good nutrients for the soil in years to come. And we'll continue to use materials that we like this, that we put down over our garden year after year, and just feed the soil. And so what we've done here is we put down some manure underneath all of this. That's been broken down really well, and a number of other things on top of the soil to kind of condition the soil. And then on top, we have good soil anyway, but we wanted to continue to condition it. And so we have put down a number of things, all organically based as much as possible, and then put down these wood chips over the top to just help retain that moisture. And we'll plant right in the wood chips. There's a really good good quality soil underneath all of this. And so that's what we've done here, and so you can kind of see where we've done that, and it's going to give us a really good garden area. And then we'll take a look at some of the, let me show you this box over here. Okay, so this is our potato box. I'm going to make another box or a container for potatoes on the other side. So we're going to grow potatoes in here, and it's basically a cedar box. And how I made this box was I just basically found a cedar tree, which there are plenty full around here, and I cut the top of the tree off, and then I just sliced off the boards. And so basically I had a 7-foot stump, you know, or so sticking out of the ground, and then I just sliced off the boards with my chainsaw and then cut the boards off and used it for this. And what we'll do is we'll continue to put slats of the cedar up on when it raises up, when the potatoes start coming up. We'll continue to use this and add slats to it and add more soil on top of the potatoes. And so this is really good stuff. What we're using in here is some manure and also some composting, some mushroom compost that came from a mushroom factory that was using organic materials to use this. And so we put this mushroom compost in there, and also some ground topsoil that we had harvested from the forest. And then we also put some manure, some rabbit manure in here. And I know people who keep rabbits just for the sake of manure. Some Hebrews, they don't eat the rabbits, but they keep it just for the sake of their manure. Is so valuable. And so we do that as well. Not raising the rabbits, but we found a place that raises rabbits and sells the manure. And so we added a bunch of that manure to our garden and also in here as well. And so that's going to give our potatoes, we think, a great nutrition base to draw from and grow just really large potatoes. And so we're going to use that here and go ahead and then plant, continue to add slats and add more soil to this that we have. In fact, there's some more of that mushroom compost there pile over there. And so we're going to add to that. So that's our mushroom box. We're going to add another mushroom container over here. It's going to be just wire mesh. I'm going to try both ways and see which one works the best this year. And then we'll add another one of these for sweet potatoes as well, coming up down the road. Okay, so you remember our arbor. So we got the arbor basically built. I have a couple more things to do. You see these posts that are in the ground here. I'm going to add rails. You can see the rails that are on the ground. I'm going to be adding these rails on top of here, so it'll be kind of like a handrail, except for the front entrance. This is the entrance, but the sides will all have a rail going around it, and I haven't put that in yet. I'm probably going to try to do that today or tomorrow, and screw those in, put those in place, and then we will go ahead and I have the achicha cucumbers that are sprouting. I mean, they've already sprouted and they're growing like crazy inside, and so we're going to go ahead and plant those. I think the threat of frost is just about over, and I think we can go ahead and get those planted. And so they'll just climb up this thing like crazy. This is just going to be fully engulfed in achicha cucumber vines. Achicha cucumber vines will grow at least 15 to 20 feet, and so I think we're going to give it some really good soil and some really good nutrition to grow exponentially over this. And I think it's just going to look really pretty. And in the inside, I think we're going to build a cedar seat, cedar type of bench that we can sit down on and just make it look really pretty. And also, if there are ever any Hebrew weddings in the area, we hope we can use this as a huppah and use it as our sukkah and during Sukkot too. So this is going to have a lot of great uses, I think, in the garden area. I think we can maybe set up lunch gatherings out here and use this as a place to gather. I think we're going to get a lot of use out of this. It turned out really well. We're very excited. Okay, so the greenhouse update is that we have these planters that we have been posted on the side of the greenhouse. We have them on this side of the greenhouse and on the other side of the greenhouse on the wall. And we're growing lettuce in those, and so we have, you can see the lettuce is growing up fine. We have a number of different types of varieties of lettuce and different planters depending on what they are. And so it seems like everything's growing really well. We have put also again some of that mushroom compost in here and some worm castings and just some topsoil that we had gathered from the forest, mixed all in with it. And then also some azomite, rock dust, all mixed in with this. And so we're using all of this inside for our planters, and everything's going pretty well. So this has just been growing now for a couple of weeks, and so it seems like it's coming up fairly well. And the greenhouse, the grow beds are growing. I have a number of plants already inside some of these beds, and some of the beds are still empty. We have things growing inside, lots of plants and seedlings inside that we're getting ready to transplant out into the greenhouse. We haven't done that yet, but by next time we do a garden update, you'll see most of those inside the grow beds. But some of the grow beds have things growing in them. You can see here we have peas growing in them. Over here we have, these are cauliflower. We just planted these straight from seed, so they're starting to come up now. There's cauliflower there. We have over here, these are cucumbers that are coming up over there, and they're all throughout these beds, and there's some more there. And then we have, let's see, this is okra. We have okra in these beds that are coming up. And over here we have some tomatoes that are coming up. These we just planted right from seed. The other tomatoes we have are already about a foot tall that we're going to be transplanting into some of these beds. But I figured I wanted to try a few beds with just tomatoes right from seed. And sure enough, there's tomatoes coming up all over these beds. And so we're going to have to thin these out eventually. But they're coming up all throughout the beds that we planted. And then there's some other green beans that are coming up over on some of those beds. So there are a number of beds that have things growing in them. We just have to go ahead and move and transplant some of the seedlings we have growing inside out to some of these beds that we're going to be doing here in the next day or so. Yeah, everything's running smoothly, and the aquaponics is running really well, and so we're very excited about that. And we'll give you a whole in-depth aquaponics video, off-grid aquaponics video coming up probably in the next couple of weeks once things get a little bit more going and I have some more time, because really, folks, I'm just way too busy trying to get this farm going, also working at the same time, and just, life in general is busy, right? And Passover is quickly coming up, so it's just a lot going on right now. But anyway, let me give you look at this over here. This is some lemon thyme that we're going to be planting on some of our porches. We're getting decks built right now. We're building some decks, And once we do that, we're going to have some citronella plants and this lemon thyme that they say is sort of like a mosquito repellent. And we're going to plant this in our decks. And so we have a number of these plants right here that are waiting to go into some larger pots. Over here, we have 2 peach trees that came from our neighbors. And so just the other day, I was over at my neighbor's house helping them chop some wood. And they have a huge giant peach tree out there. And they got, like, last year from one peach tree, 15 bushels of peaches. And they had these 2 trees, these 2 saplings coming up underneath the peach tree that had sprouted from like the year or 2 before. And they said, "Would you want those?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll take it." So they said, "Well, you have to dig it up." And so I went over there and I dug these 2 seedlings up and I got them into some pots right away. And these are growing nicely, and I can't wait to get these planted probably in the next few weeks or so. We haven't decided exactly where we're going to plant these, but we're going to be doing that here sometime shortly and getting these 2 peach trees planted out. And so a couple other things, some of the things we're using outside on our garden. This is not really for the greenhouse, but we have neem oil. We're using this to spray on our fruit trees, along with the Dr. Bronner Sal Suds. Our family has been using Dr. Bronner's products for years. All just complete awesome products. And so you mix this with the neem oil and with a little bit of neem oil, and you put it in a water sprayer, and then you spray this on your plants outside, and it keeps the aphids, and it keeps the worms, and the cutworms and all the flies and things away and the moths from your plants. And so it's really good to use, and also works against fungus. If you have trees with fungus problems, this will clear it right up. And so neem oil, it's 100% organic. It comes from the neem tree in India, I believe. We're also using C90 on our garden. I dispersed some of this over all the garden this year, and so it's got 90 trace minerals, and it goes through some of the minerals. Online gives you a whole better breakdown of what some of the minerals are in the C90, but this comes highly recommended. I've seen a number of people on YouTube using this to put trace minerals in their garden, and with positive results. Boogie Brew, this is a composting tea, vegetarian tea, and so it's got all kinds of great stuff in here, and for building a good biological network, organic, the biology in your soil. This is great for that. And I've heard so many people, especially John Kohler at growingyourgreens.com, who uses this. People give great reviews on Boogie Brew. And what it does, it comes with like a little sack inside here that you take and you put an air stone, and you basically brew this, in a 5-gallon bucket. And so this little package, I think will make like 35 gallons. 35 gallons. And so boogiebrew.net, check that out if you want to learn more and get that. And so over here, some of our materials we're using when we pot some things out, we have worm castings. And so we got this from a local organic nursery nearby, and so we're using lots of worm castings on all of our stuff. Over here in this bucket, this is azomite, rock dust. It's volcanic ash. It contains about 70 trace minerals. All kinds of great stuff inside of this for your plants, and it's good to work this into your soil. And this is the one item I am using in the aquaponics. I saw a number of people using azomite in their aquaponic systems with great results, and so I'm going to try that as well. I did sprinkle a little bit of this on my grow beds, and we'll use this throughout the year on my aquaponics system. And so that's about it, basically. I got some more, these are cabbages coming up, some more cabbages. I got a bunch of cabbages inside growing, but there's just some extra ones. And so we got lots of stuff growing, and everything's going really well and working well. And so we're excited that spring is finally here, and the threat of frost is almost over, so we're going to start getting stuff out in the garden. So I hope you guys are growing stuff too. This is our part 2 garden update. We'll do a part 3 coming up here in a couple of weeks. So that's it. Go home, read your Bible. Thanks.